What's going on, YouTube? WildLion Games here, and I finally picked up an NHL game after 10 years of not buying a new version. I'm an NHL fan, been an Avs supporter my entire life, thanks to all my family in Denver for giving me no other choice. But hey, unlike Jacksonville, this one actually worked out in my favor as I've gotten to see incredible Avs teams over my lifespan. So why don't I play NHL games more often? I do. I've just been playing NHL 2K7 and NHL 12 for the last however many years. I don't know. Like, I'm in NHL 2K7. I'm literally in like year 11 of my franchise. Why now? Why am I buying NHL 23 now? And so let's be honest here, right? I saw the trailers EA dropped with the new presentation and the new gameplay features. Plus, I've always wanted to check out be a pro mode in World of Chel, so I figured, hey, with all these new features, now should be the year to jump back in. So how do I like it? And if you're new to NHL, should you also jump in this year? Let's find out. Presentation up first, and honestly, this is pretty subpar to be real with you guys. And even though I think Madden's presentation is bad, NHL might be worse. It just kind of feels like an afterthought to EA, and especially after creating an entire trailer and dev diary for the presentation alone, I was severely disappointed that the new presentation details are only available for 6 NHL teams. Like what? How are you going to do a whole new presentation system and pre-game show and like the end of the anthem and people with the light sticks, but you're only going to make it available for like less than a fourth of the league? Absolutely ridiculous. Like, presentation is just meh. I even went back and I downloaded NHL 22, and I just see that EA is just kind of up to their usual BS, not making updates each year. It's lazy. And I mean, here, just check this out from NHL 2K7 to compare.
Big game, boys. They need it. We need it. We got to play smart. Stay out of the box. Let's go get 2 points.
Center, home of the Colorado Avalanche. I'm Bob Cole, and with me is Harry Neal. Thanks for tuning in to exciting NHL action here on the Frozen Pond.
What a group of fans here in Colorado. When they won the Stanley Cup in '96, they were as noisy as any group of fans in any league.
They're lined up and ready for the face-off.
Let's play physical up there. Win games. Road victory, baby. Guy on the left.
Sound. Dude, the sound design is amazing. Just let's take a listen.
And momentum on their side as they win the draw here inside the offensive zone. They'll be back on their heels. They lose the draw. That's just textbook positioning to break up the play. And he keeps possession. Moves it to Kurashev. Oh, what a chance here. Can they make it happen on this 2-on-1? And a good save on the play as action continues.
EA did an excellent job capturing the excitement when you hear on the broadcast in an arena during a tight game. Hearing the crowd roaring at the initial puck drops gets the adrenaline going. And then when the game is tied up in the third period, or you're down 1 or you're up 1 and the crowd is on their feet and it's loud, you can just feel the intensity on the ice just amp up. The puck smashing against the boards on like a wide shot, mixed in with the crowd oohs and the commentators' excitements in their voices. It's all so well put together, and it truly brings out the energy of a hockey game into the video game world. EA absolutely nailed the sound, and I only wish their Madden team could do the same. NHL 23 is incredibly fun, and the atmosphere of game day is palpable in NHL 23. Gameplay. So for this one, I also had to go back and install NHL 22 so I could compare the two games. And I have to say, all it took was me playing like 2 periods of NHL 22 to notice a major difference in the on-ice play. EA actually really stepped it up a notch here in NHL 23, and the most noticeable detail to me is that last chance puck movement. This feature is truly a game changer and something that as a gamer I'm used to seeing being used as just like an advertising gimmick to get the consumer to buy the game, and I am very happy to say this is not the case in NHL 23. There's a real difference on the ice down by the net when your player is either being knocked away from the puck and recovering, or maybe the shot gets deflected and a teammate swoops in for the rebound shot. And it's moments on offense like this that you don't see in NHL 22 and don't happen in NHL 22. There's so many instances in 22 where if my player was knocked off his path, bumped slightly as I'm moving up the ice, or the puck gets deflected, then the play's over and you're back on defense. But now, NHL 23, all of these second chance moments, maybe I can stumble and recover and keep moving, or maybe I can reach my stick out and try and just knock the puck towards the net, and it really just feels more realistic, and it feels more like what you would see at a game or on TV. The fun factor is definitely there. The player movement feels sharp. It feels more responsive than 22, and it's just all around a smoother experience from skating to shooting to passing. Gameplay is a ton of fun, and I've really enjoyed my time on the ice in NHL 23. Franchise mode. So franchise mode also boasted some new features in a dev diary trailer that I was really excited about. But let's take a look now that the hype has died off. All the major changes to franchise mode are in the setup phase. Basically, you can customize your franchise rules, your league structure, which is really cool, but the changes stop there. And once you're in franchise mode, everything is the exact same as the previous years, but I will get into that in a second. First, let me touch on these new features. While I really like that I can create a franchise mode and change the games from, 82 down to 26 or wherever I want in between, is really nice because let's be honest, playing an 82 game season is a lot. That's why I'm still playing NHL 2K7 and NHL 12, because I don't play that often. So playing 82 games in a season is a lot. And that's why I haven't upgraded my NHL game in a decade. It's so much easier to play a 16 game NFL season versus 82 and then have like a multiple of best series to play throughout in the playoffs. So I love that I can basically keep the league the exact same, but just change the length and the playoff structure. Or I could turn it up to an 11 and, make this like a 40 team league and add all these expansion teams, play 100 games, move conferences around, create teams, bring in European teams. And honestly, in fact, with all the teams available from like the Canadian and European leagues, you could just create a European league and then just like play that out in this game if you wanted to. The possibilities are almost endless when it comes to franchise mode setup in NHL 23. But let's calm down a second. This should have been a feature years ago. Small studios like Megahead, who made Super Mega Baseball, have had these features of being able to customize your franchise structure in their games years ago. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad it's finally a feature in the game, but let's not call it groundbreaking EA. EA is trying to they're trying to show this off like, oh, this is this groundbreaking feature. Like, no, dude. Indie studios with like 7 dudes working on the game have been providing this feature for over 5 years now. So let's calm down. Now, on to franchise mode. If you're a new player, it is the same as NHL 22, but if you're unfamiliar with how things work, then let me explain it for you. And if you are familiar, then go ahead and skip to the next session if you like. The Madden devs could honestly take a note or two from the NHL devs here. Scouting works fairly well. It's actually useful if you want to manually scout upcoming prospects for the draft. NHL uses this like fog of war feature, which is not new for 23, but it's basically like an accuracy measure of like how accurate your scouting is going to be on a player. And so you're going to have like this little like a binoculars icon that lets you know like, hey, your scouts ratings on this prospect is, this accurate. And, your scouts have regions and leagues that they're proficient at, and you can hire and fire scouts to your staff, which requires you to pay attention to your overall budget. And speaking of budget, you can also make changes to the arena, and not just your typical upgrades, ticket prices, jersey prices, hot dogs, drinks, all that stuff, parking, making upgrades to the stadium itself, all those like general manager features that we're used to seeing and like, MVP baseball, not quite that in depth, but Madden and stuff like that, where you can change prices and make upgrades. All that good stuff is here. It's a very standard franchise mode, but everything works like it should. And so therefore I have to say that it's a lot of fun. And I can finally, I guess, move on from NHL 2K7. The Be a Pro mode. All right, this right here. This mode right here. If you don't have NHL or haven't played it, this is why you buy it. I wish Madden could make a superstar mode just like half as good at this. Half as good as this. So if you're one of those players that you just want to like, create a player and do a career mode, or maybe like you're not really into NHL, but you like playing career mode games, this is where you begin. Be a Pro mode in NHL 23. It's the exact same as NHL 22, but it has me hooked. The gameplay is so smooth. The player camera doesn't cut off your view from the action. When you're not in the game, you can sim or you can watch from the bench until you're back in on the ice. And I know that's small, but it's just like a nice quality life of feature. Just like when you set the period length, you're actually able to see how many rotations on the ice you'll most likely get. I know that sounds small, but when you're choosing like the game time of like how long these periods are going to be, it's really helpful to see like, hey, if you want a shorter game and only want 4-minute periods, you're probably only going to get on the ice 1 or 2 times a period. So just seeing something like that is just a very nice quality of life feature I enjoy. The player archetypes focused in on career mode, and there's a noticeable difference in not just skill ability, but how your player moves around the ice depending on the player archetype that you choose. Like if you're a bruiser or a sniper or like a offensive defenseman or defensive offensive man. I don't know. There's a lot of archetypes in here, but how quickly you can move and how much force your body checks will have vary greatly, not just with height and weight, but with also, like I said, if you're going to be like a defensive bruiser or like a brawler, you're out there trying to fight, or if you're a sniper, your body checks, if you're a sniper, aren't going to have the same force as a defenseman. And I just really love how these archetypes can change the way you play the game and gives you a good variety of how you want to approach your career mode. Also, speaking of approaching career mode, you can answer post-game interview questions. You can go bowling with your teammates. All of these things have an impact on and off the ice, but also those on and off impacts, they intertwine with each other. So you have like this brand, your player image, your brand, and if you lean more towards like one side or the other, the opinions of like your teammates on you will change. And if you're kind of like a diva and the opinion that your teammates have of you starts to go down, it's not just like an off ice thing that's happening, like, oh, this is like my player type, this is my personality. Like, you're actually going to see that take effect on the ice. So if you're a diva, your teammates don't really like you that much, you're not going to get the puck on the ice very much. But if you're like a team first guy, your teammates adore you, all those types of things, like they're going to try and get you the puck on the ice more often than not. So it is really cool to see that it's not just a frivolous feature to have where you have like a player personality that doesn't really affect anything, but it actually does affect the game. And your coach's opinions on you will affect the type of contract you can get. The media and the league's opinions of you will also affect what kind of endorsement deals you can get, what kind of trade offers you can get. And if you're not liked, you can get traded to another team. There's a lot of really cool stuff here. And speaking of one of my favorite features in NHL 23 for Be a Pro, you also have a salary, which you can spend on various items. Yes, like, it's a career mode. You have a salary, and you can take that salary. You can buy yourself a bicycle. You can get an apartment. You can buy jewelry. You can even buy a private island. Yes, you can buy a private island in NHL 23. You can start your own fragrance line, hire a personal chef, donate to kids, invest in the stock market. There's so many cool things that you can do with your salary, and they all have an impact on your career. Some of these, they all provide bonuses, and some of these bonuses only last a season. Some of them last forever. Some of them improve your on-ice stats, or some of them might provide bonus like multipliers, and others may just change your public image or your brand that you are trying to build. This game is so much fun, and I can't believe it's taken me this long to hop into the Be a Pro mode in NHL. World of Chel. Ooh, man, this review's getting long. There's a ton to cover in NHL 23, but it's all good stuff. And World of Chel adds to the list, man. It is an online competitive mode where it's 3v3, but like all 6 men on the ice are controlled by real players. It's fast-paced, definitely favors the offense, but it's a lot of fun. And being a new player who doesn't have like the stick skills as other players, I was kind of nervous and hesitant to check this mode out. But I was also happy to say that I was able to provide value to my teams by acting more as like a two-way playmaker. Because, you know, everyone wants to skate through defenders and take wicked shots. But, like, my skills aren't there yet. I'm kind of new to this NHL game, again, because we didn't have all these controls on, like, NHL 2K7. So, like I said, I was hesitant. But I actually had a lot of fun facilitating on offense and felt like I provided value to my teams. And, you know, while they're taking shots, I'm getting back on defense, or I'm hanging out by the net to try and knock in the puck off a rebound. And, you know, you can join a club, you can create a club. And they also have like the EA Sports like hockey league. And, you know, you can take your clubs and you're basically trying to become like the best in the league. You know, you use your creative pro, you're locked into that like same position. And like as you win games, you earn points, you advance through division, and then you want to try and reach Division 1, which is like the highest division there is, and then like you can earn rank points. There's just like the more casual side, which is like 1s and 3s, which is basically what it sounds like. It's like a 1v1v1, which is what 1s is, and it's like a 3-minute competition to see who can get the most goals. And then you also have 3s, which is what I was talking about earlier, which is basically like the 3v3, but like all the guys on the ice are controlled by real players. You know, they have money pucks in the game, which are like worth more than 1 goal. And like for the team that scores it, it can be worth like 2 or 3 goals. So World of Chel is a ton of fun. It's fast paced. I'm actually liking it more than I thought I would. And I will say, if you are on NHL 22 and you're trying to think of going to NHL 23, I played World of Chel on both. And the only real difference I could notice was like the wait times. So on NHL 22, I was waiting a couple minutes to hop into a game. But on NHL 23, I was, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds getting into a game. So, and I'm on last gen, so I'm sure that the next gen consoles, or I guess now current gen, the wait times aren't as bad. But just keep that in mind, that the servers are not going to be as active. If you're like an online multiplayer guy and that's what you're trying to do, you might want to get NHL 23 just because the servers aren't going to be as active on 22. All right, so you guys know I rate my games on an obscure scale with real life things to relate the game to. So, how do I rate NHL 23 on the Xbox One? I rate this game the Blues fan on Twitter back in 2016 who discovered hockey for the first time. You guys remember that? That was one of the most hilarious threads, entertaining threads I've seen on Twitter. But I related to my experience with this game. I haven't played NHL since I barely played NHL 12. I'm maybe like a couple seasons in, but like I really played 2K7. And deciding to pick up NHL 23 was just like an entertaining and exciting experience that felt like it was brand new again. I'm going to have a lot of fun playing this game, and this is the first review in a while where I've actually been like extremely excited about continuing to play the game after I've captured like all the content I need for the review. If you're coming from NHL 22, I think you have some more like personal decisions to think about, because, you know, franchise mode is about the same. Once you're done setting it up, everything within franchise mode is the same. But if you're like me and you don't want to sim games, but also don't want to play 82 games in a season, I do think upgrading from 22 to 23 could be worth it. Presentation is nothing special. Be a Pro mode is the exact same as years before. And so is World of Chel, minus a few, you know, quality of life changes here and there. But the biggest improvement is actually gameplay, and that's on the ice. And there's a clear difference in player responsiveness between NHL 22 and 23. So if you have NHL 22, I would say this is probably like a wait for a Black Friday sale. But if you're new to the series, if you're like Tony X on Twitter who just discovered Blues hockey and has never seen it before, and you want to get into an NHL game, this is what you need to get. I highly recommend an NHL 23. That's it from me, guys. Hope you enjoyed the review. This is WildLion Games here. I appreciate it. Make sure you give a like and a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And if you did, maybe consider subscribing. More NHL 23 content is definitely coming to this channel, so stay tuned. Until next time, peace.